everybody, and welcome back to our new name, Nerds, Geeks, and Gamers. Today I have three wonderful people with me. So we're going to start off with Michelle, because she's always the sweetest, and she always has some great recommendations. But hello, Michelle. We have Carlos, as always.
Whoop, whoop.
And then we have Raul.
Howdy. I think that's the first time Carlos has ever been introduced.
Ever, yeah, in the 115 episodes.
How many we have?
I believe so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about The Legend of Vox Machina, which I believe was a show from 2022, and I believe Raul was giving us a little bit of a backstory here for it, but it seems like this was first a D&D tabletop, and then it was created into a show. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was a whole thing. But yeah, it started, so it's 8 voice actors. It used to be 9. They started playing at home for 2 years, and then they brought it to live streaming. And then if anyone's ever played Dungeons and Dragons, Matt Mercer was the dungeon master. And then you had the other 7 players, ultimately 7 players. And they're currently in their 3rd campaign, but each campaign has been over 100 episodes, a 4-hour-long thing. So this show is based off of the first campaign, which was Vox Machina was the group, the name of the party. So they did a Kickstarter with the hopes of doing a 20 to 30 minute special with the goal of 750,000, and they ended up raising over 11 million. So that was enough to do 10 episodes. Prime Video ended up saying, all right, we'll give you 2 seasons. And then after that, then they greenlit the 3rd season. Now they're going to do the 2nd campaign, which is the Mighty 9. So it's going to be a lot more animated Critical Role stuff.
Are you reading a script, man?
No, I just.
He's got all the info, yeah.
So I got into D&D in 2019.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I discovered Critical Role, and then I just started binging everything. And then by then they had already done the Kickstarter, but then they didn't have the Prime Video stuff or anything like that. So then I caught up with everything, and I finished, and then I started watching the Mighty 9 every week, every Thursday. And now I've been selecting on this 3rd campaign. But
Ro, I feel like it's been long enough for me to say this joke without offending you, but you were married before you started D&D, right?
Well, I was never married, but yes.
And then,
yes, I was partnered up.
You're partnered up. So,
yeah, I was partnered up. Yeah.
D&D came into your life, and then
it got exceptionally better from
Yeah.
So before we even talk about the show, though, since Carlos has given Raul shit, I'm gonna have you talk about what you've watched this week here.
Okay, so just everybody, I'm not big into D&D. I actually almost backed out of even doing this episode because I don't know what I'm talking about. But the one reason I am here is because I just saw what's probably gonna be like my 3rd favorite movie of the year this weekend, and I am challenging you, each one of you, to see this movie, because when we do our top 10 reviews, I don't care if it doesn't make your list. I just gotta know that you saw it and you purposely chose it not to be over your top 10. But I saw the movie Challengers, which is the movie that everybody knows where Zendaya has the threesome. She has a threesome with these 2 other guys.
It's the tennis one.
The tennis one, man. And I
only know it as a tennis one, Carlos.
Yeah, same here. I don't know what you're watching.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody knows it, especially Tom Holland, is the movie where my girl gets possibly double teamed by these 2 best friends. They've known each other since they've been 13. Dude, the movie has such an amazing soundtrack. I don't think I've heard such a great soundtrack since I've seen the movie Drive. And Drive came out 15 years ago. So for me to say this movie has a badass sound, needle drop every 5-15 minutes, and just the way
Gosling Drive.
No, yeah, Drive has an awesome soundtrack.
Okay. I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, and dude, I'm telling you, it's for a movie about tennis, they do so many interesting things that my wife was like, they're doing all this crazy stuff because tennis is boring as shit. So they have to do all these like crazy camera angles, all these needle draws to elevate the movie. But I don't think none of that was really needed. But the movie itself, I just think was awesome. So again, just highly, highly recommended. All of you, especially because it's on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it on Amazon Prime after we record. Okay, after we record, each one of you challengers.
No, I'm gonna start watching it right now.
Yeah, right now. I'm gonna share the screen and then we can continue talking here.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that I wanted to push. So now I can peacefully skedoodle out of here
with your picnic basket.
Go into another dimension.
Yeah. He's still not invited camping though.
He's gonna clean shift.
I'm actually gonna stay in the recording while I watch challengers on my phone and just flash.
He's gonna just rewatch that one scene.
Oh my god, he's gonna timestamp it for us and be like, really take notes in this particular moment.
I see you, Tom Holland. I see you.
He's not even in the movie.
He's not even in the movie. He's watching in the corner couch in that hotel room.
Crying
oh my god.
Or watching.
Watching, yeah.
Moving on, Michelle, what have you watched?
So I watched a lot. I don't know if any of you guys have ever experienced vertigo, but that happened to me on Monday. And it's basically like everything is spinning around you. It's like if you were not even moving, but you were just on a boat all day.
Oh my god.
So all I could really do was just be at home and sitting like on the couch just watching TV because it didn't require me to really move or anything like that. So I watched a lot of Naruto. I'm now on season 3 of Shippuden. I'm getting
what season 3? I don't know that season.
I haven't watched the first episode, but the way that the second one ended was that they encountered the Three Tails, and there was that whole thing with that boy and the crystal jutsu user who was really cool.
Yeah.
And then the Akatsuki came in. And then they got that one.
Is the Three Tails a slug or the one that's like a turtle?
It's like a turtle.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because the Leaf Village was trying to like seal it, and they like couldn't. Honestly, Ino was getting on my nerves because she just could not get her shit together. I was like, "Girl, come on."
Yeah. They don't give enough time to those tail beasts and like give some of the backstories. Like the monk never really got one. The monkey monk, I think, never really got one.
Son Goku.
The leopard didn't either, right? The girl with
they just showed her kind of kicking ass, and the next thing you know, like she's taken down. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. We didn't get much, and I was kind of bummed out because I like a lot of that like lore and backstory. So, I mean, it was like all right. I was still just like trying to get through the season because again, I'm just, as my friend said, I'm raw dogging Naruto because I'm watching every episode.
Oh man!
All the fillers too.
The fillers.
Now you're talking challenger terms to me. Raw dogging. Yeah.
You started it. So that's what I've been watching, and obviously I rewatched. Rewatched and also kind of caught up to this show. So I started playing D&D like last year, and my party members actually were the ones that were telling me, my DM and fellow friends were like, "Oh, you need to watch this show, you're gonna love it," all this stuff. And I finally just got around to like finishing it. So I watched all of the first one and half of the second, but I read about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And Raul, what have you been watching here?
I started Agatha all along. So that it actually I have high hopes.
Yeah.
It started well. So I think it's going to kind of come back to good MCU. Hopefully it continues. I saw the first episode of The Penguin. So I liked that as well. I think I'm gonna like that one. And then my weekly shows of the usual of Tower of the Gods and My Hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Breaking My Heart.
I finished something. Can I say one more show that I
No,
finished?
nope.
It's anime. It's
So-
Raise
anime.
your hand.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
anime related, so I don't know. But
Okay, we allow it.
I finished Code Geass, the new one that came out on Hulu.
Oh, dude, I gotta finish
Rofei.
that still. Yeah.
And I was so shocked that it was actually like they ended it after 12 episodes. Like they finished like the story. Like there's no season 2. There's no more continuation with the character. It's like 12
Really?
episodes and they wrapped it up. Yeah, dude. And they actually
Is it good?
introduced the last 3 episodes were really bloody, and I was not expecting like what I saw.
Oh,
I'm like, oh,
all
all right,
right.
this is kind of crazy, like what they do with the like with the show. But yeah, like I kind of wrote, I think you should definitely go and finish it now, knowing that it's only 12 episodes.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, because I got through a good like 6, 7 of them.
Yeah, you're almost there then. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I went to Colorado, so I didn't watch too much, but I did watch a few movies. 2 of the movies that I watched were actually Polish, so I got the English names. It's Lesson Plan and Kill Me If You Dare. So Lesson Plan was more of like an action movie. I would say it's both of them are on Netflix. The first one is more of there's like a mob within the school, and then like a cop pretends he's a teacher and he tries to bring them down because they're selling drugs. But then the second one was a comedy where it was a couple that you didn't really think belonged together, and then they win the lottery. They win $5 million, and the whole movie preface is them trying to kill each other almost, but they keep like backing out at the very last moment, and then they end up falling in love and all of that stuff. But it's funny just to see them kind of going through the emotion of we won $5 million, but I should have more money, and then they're trying to like kill each other off just a little bit.
No, that's
So
cool.
those were the 2 shows that I watched, or the 2 movies, I should say. And then I did read 3 books because power was going in and out.
Ooh.
So 3 whole books were
What
read.
are those?
Wow.
I'm kidding.
They were just murder mystery books. So
Oh,
little thrillers and all that. So that is what I watched. And then obviously I watched Vox Machina, which, Raul, thank you. I actually really loved this show, and I didn't watch it in 2 times speed. I watched
I don't think you
Normal.
could on Amazon Prime.
I
don't
have
think
a
it'll
little,
let you.
I have an extension, so I'm able to speed them up. But no, this one I watched normal speed, all of the episodes. I didn't even think to put it at 2 times speed. I enjoyed it that much.
You know, you weren't here to
Wow.
record with us last week, but did you watch Dorohedoro at all? Or no?
I did. So while we were driving over there, I was watching it, and then the connection was getting spotty. So I think I only got to like episode 7. I didn't fully complete it, and I gotta be honest, I couldn't get myself into it.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
wasn't. I guess when you were first thrown into it, I didn't get enough plot for me to be able to enjoy it from like the first and second episode, because a lot of it was me trying to figure out, okay, they're in this different world. She's a sorcerer, but he has the lizard head for this. All of it was just kind of like interlapping with each other, and I couldn't fully figure it out. I know that the episodes further on kind of explain things a little bit more,
Yeah.
but I kind of like to get that dump in the first portion and then kind of see the progression, if that makes sense.
No, interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. So Kaiju number 9 and this Dorohedoro, not your kind of thing. Interesting.
Kaiju number 8.
Hey,
Kaiju 8.
number 9
okay.
is fine. We
Number 9
So-
is so much better now.
So I'm interested because, Raul, you were the one that mentioned this and
Yes.
recommended this to us. So I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay, so we can start on it.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's been kind of like a whole journey thing, because I started watching in 2019. That's when they did the Kickstarter, and that's kind of when they started kind of wanting to do like the whole thing, and then they picked up for further and all that stuff. So I watched all the Twitch, everything that they streamed on Twitch, and then on YouTube, or like I watched all of that. So I knew a lot of I knew like the whole story. I know what's coming up, and then the ending. I really wonder how they're gonna do the ending of this show, because it like I cried like
Oh,
when they did the live stream, because it's intense, and you kind of get the inklings of it with a lot of the stuff that they set up. I think it's amazing, the voice cast that they got, because obviously they're all voice actors already. So you'll like recognize a few of them. One of them's been a Ninja Turtle. They've all been like different superheroes like Flash or Thor, Black Widow. They've the voice of Gara is Vax. The voice of Levi and Trafalgar Law is Matt Mercer. So you have a lot of like big anime, big video game, big different people, or even from The Last of Us. The Abby, that's Ashley, and then in the second one, the second game, Laura Bailey does the other one, but they're already good voice actors, and then they brought in like David Tennant, and they brought in like a bunch of all these like huge like actual actors and stuff. Even Logic is does a voice in the show, but I thought that was cool, but I'll talk way too long if I continue. But I liked it, but it was cool kind of seeing it, and it was cool kind of seeing the D&D part of it, because especially in that door, I'm sure Michelle understands doors in D&D, because doors are always like one of the biggest obstacles that you run into, and then when they hit that door that they couldn't go in, and then they tried picking the lock, and they tried everything, and then they end up getting pissed thrown on them, and that was the only way that they could get in. But yeah, it was funny, and it's funny how they changed some things too, because probably copyright infringement. So I'll throw in a few Easter eggs as you guys talk. It's probably the best way to do it.
All right, Michelle, what did you think? I know you play D&D, so you kind of understand a little bit more than probably Carlos and I do. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this too.
Yeah, so like I said, I play D&D. I've heard of Critical Role. I never like watched this like any of the live streams, so I don't have a lot of like that prior knowledge or lore that Raul has or anything. But just as a player, like I appreciated a lot of, like Raul mentioned, those just little nods or little things said that if you play the game, you would get. Like, I think there was a quote about or something mentioned about like you never split the party or something like that.
Oh yeah, Scanlan talks about it.
That made me laugh, because in my campaign we split the party once, and it was bad. People almost died, and we almost ended the world when that happened. I will say in my defense, my character did not. I was just kind of chilling, keeping watch. So yeah, you never split the party, because I could have been the voice of reason there. But overall, I think the show was done like really well. I think a lot of the voices and everything was great. Again, I don't really like know all of the other people who are part of like the original live streamer show, but I fell in love with the characters. I think that this show actually made me interested in going back to see all of the 100 episodes of live stream, but I feel that it did a pretty good job at introducing the story and the characters, and being able to connect with the characters as well, and just because each season's only 12 episodes, so I think it did a good job in just like this short time span to be able to know what's going on in the world, know what their big task is, and then also get some of the characters like main backstories and how do they interact with one another and all of that stuff. I'm sure that in the series, like there's probably way more that goes into that, but I feel like they did just enough, and it was done like really well. And the animation I felt was great. It almost gave me like Avatar: Legend of Korra, which I really like the way that those shows were animated, and I like the way this was done. And even just like it is an adult show, so
what
adult humor and everything was like funny. It was done well, but one of the things, so like most adult shows, it's kind of like, I don't know, you think of Family Guy and Rick and Morty, Simpsons, where like there's things that happen, but there's not like this in-depth character development. They're just very one-dimensional, and I like that this was an adult show, but you get a lot of that character growth that you see in like young adult shows and stuff like Avatar and all of that. So it was really nice to kind of get a mix of both worlds because it's two things that I appreciate. Yes, I like the laughs, the crude humor, and all of that, but I also like seeing like this, character growth and development as well too.
Nice.
I know Carlos is sitting there very quietly watching Challengers, but if you could bless us
Let me pause it.
with what you were thinking during the show, because you haven't said much about it, to be honest.
No, and you know what? This is my second rewatch that I just did, and even though I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, actually one of my favorite movies that came out last year was the Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine.
Yeah.
And that was really really good. And then I do recall possibly watching the show for the first time before that movie even came on. So I've been sort of surrounded myself with D&D stuff for a long time, and I just don't really, again, I don't really understand a lot of the stuff that's happening, the terms. So I don't get that inside joke kind of things. But when I do look at this show just from a perspective of like, hey, does this show make me laugh? Is this show heavy on action? Are the characters really good? Is the voice acting like something that I highly, highly enjoy? And it's like, yes, all those things. This show is giving me all those things. And I just feel, I don't know, like you said, Michelle, like when you were talking, I also was thinking like this show did remind me a little bit of the Avatar, the way it looks, some of the fact that you're following, like the kids and they're going on this journey. It also reminded me a little bit of Voltron, which is like this show on Netflix, and that the animation style of that. And it's just like, yeah, like this show is so freaking good. Raul, I don't know if you know this, but like the third season, it is right around the corner. So I'm
on the third it comes out.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that I'm doing this rewatch, because then as soon as the third season comes on, like I'm gonna be exactly know what's going on. And I don't know if I'll ever give D&D another shot in my life, because I did give it a good chance once. It might have been that maybe the experience wasn't what I needed it to actually make me want to live in that world.
It was
But
the first time I ever ran a game, so I'm sorry, Carlos.
no, and so so the door's never closed on again me ever being part of a campaign. But yeah, this show, I think it's great, man. I think all the characters are awesome. I think Keela, or I don't know if that's how you Keela, that's definitely I think my favorite kind of character in the whole show. And even when I saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie, like that character was also my favorite. It's just kind of like I can see I have a type. Yeah, I think I have a type, and it's the druid.
Yeah. I recently was playing a druid in the campaign, but then things happened, and then now I'm a ranger. But
I have yet to play a druid, but I want to.
Well, I remember
they're complicated to play
in my current campaign, so I really loved Thick's character, because just kind of seeing her in action, like in your head when you're playing, like you imagine how your smite and like lay on hands and things look like, and it was actually kind of really really cool to see it animated.
Yeah. The show got me back into playing Baldur's Gate again, which I am playing a druid in Baldur's Gate. So it got me back into that. And I feel like Baldur's Gate really did do a good job of putting a lot of the D&D aspects into the game. Because what you guys are bringing up, I actually kind of know and I understand what you're saying, because you do have to do those things in Baldur's Gate. So I like how you two said that it reminded you of Avatar as well. For me, the show reminded me more of Teen Titans almost. And Keyleth, to me, reminded me so much of Starfire. I don't know why. She was so sweet, and she's just so innocent, but at the same time, she doesn't understand how strong she is, and that kind of reminded me of Starfire.
They rely on her so much, and they don't give her the credit that she deserves, or how much they're relying on her.
So the guy that voiced the ruler of Emon is the guy that voices Cyborg in Teen Titans.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And also he was in Walking Dead and a bunch of other stuff.
That's interesting. And I know that the two twins, technically, they were played as twins because those two voice actors were born on the same day, right?
No. So they have the same birthday. They weren't born in the same year.
Oh.
So actually, that's how the whole thing started, because Liam, who voices Vex, he wanted Matt to run like a D&D campaign thing for his birthday. And then Laura's birthday, who plays Vex, had the same birthday. So like that's how the whole thing started, like in their house before they ever streamed or anything like that. So
that is so interesting.
So they always say that they're twins.
I love all the lore that goes on behind the scenes before we actually see the characters. And like I mentioned before, I loved this show. I've never watched it before. Obviously, this was my first time going through it, but from the first moment, I think the first scene that you see is just they get killed, right? Like that's the first thing. And that immediately made me look over, and I took down my 2x speed and I put it back at 1 because I was like, what's going on? And then it never left my 1x speed. Not once did I speed it up or
Nice.
anything. It was the first time that a show really grabbed, well, that and like Naruto, which grabbed me right away too. But this one, I don't know. It just immediately, that 1 second of when that happened, I just started staring into it. And then you have them at the bar, basically, with the next scene. And then they just start a full on fight, but you have Scallion doing something completely different from the rest of the group. And it was just something that caught my eye, and I ended up really enjoying it.
Dude, and it's so cool seeing so many things because, like in the bar, for example, they cut off I think the half orc's hand. So that's part of the home campaign because pretty much for forever, Grog had a random half orc hand in the bag of holding for like all 100 episodes that was just rotting away through time, and periodically he'd bust it out like, oh, I forgot this was in here, and then he'd like put it back. And it was just kind of like a running gag that they had throughout the whole thing. So it's cool, kind of like how they showed like small snippets of something that happened in the live campaign, but then like they didn't really go too far into it. But it's kind of like an Easter egg to the critters, as Critical Role fans are called, that actually watch the show.
So cute.
Yeah. There were a lot of little things that I do have a question though with Vax. Did he die when he got the cloak?
No. So there's some scenes or some things that I do suggest that you that are really cool when they do it in the actual play thing, because like in D&D, whenever you go unconscious, like so whenever your hit points get to 0, you go unconscious, and then you start rolling your death saving throws. So if you get 3 bad rolls, then you're dead. And then the only way to come back is there's some spells that can bring you back to life. But in Critical Role, the way that Matt does it is that he has like other things, so it's not an automatic. So like even though you have Pike, who's a cleric, she does a resurrection of some kind or revivify or whatever. That doesn't mean that's automatically going to work. So you have to roll. People can help the role somehow by doing some sort of skill or doing some sort of something, and then that either makes it more likely or less likely to succeed, kind of depending on how the other people roll as well. So in that case, in the actual play, in the stream, Liam playing as Vax like did a whole thing about like his contribution was offering his life for his sisters. But like the way that they played it out, it was awesome because like in the live stream, they act out everything. It's very role play heavy. They even have a podcast of it, so you can even listen to it in case you wanted to kind of get into it, because it's a good story. That it kind of carries as a 4-hour episode story.
Because in the show, you know, they don't really make it clear like she's dead, and then all of a sudden she
died,
and she cuts like the rope connecting them, and then she comes back, and I'm like, wait, that's not really clear why she came back after she cut the rope. So I'm kind of like that. You just saying all that rope kind of gave me an explanation of what possibly really did happen.
No,
but
she legit died.
Yeah, but there was like no like, hey, I accept you and I'll be your warrior. What do they call him?
Your champion.
Your champion. Like I'll be your champion if you give her life. But like there was none of that. So
I think in the last few episodes he finally said like, I am your champion, and then he started flying, right? I think that's when he like fully accepted it. But it was a little muffled because I thought he died too. I thought he died and then she gave him the cloak type of thing.
Okay. No, yeah. In the live stream, like they do go around. So the speed is actually not from the cloak. He had this other item called the boots of haste. So he had those for a while. And they made him super broken because he can do a whole extra action and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I did like the fact that they made it part of the cloak. But the wings that were part of the armor from the beginning.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that
I
was
just
cool.
took it
Yeah.
as like he kind of, even though he didn't say I'll be your warrior from the beginning, it's like by him saying that, because that's the one thing when I play D&D, you have to be careful like with what you
Your
just
words.
say, because everything will have like a consequence.
Yeah.
So by him just saying like, take me instead of her, it was like, well, okay, and now you're like you serve me kind of a thing. So there was a pact that was made by saying
But she
that.
was stalking him because you saw her like in the first episode, like
Yeah.
you would get glimpses of her. So it's like you knew she wanted him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dude, and I will say in the second campaign, the character that so Liam, the guy that was Vex, like he's kind of famously like sad boy. His character in the second campaign is even like more depressing
Oh, wow.
than this one.
Emo.
He plays a wizard in the second one, but yeah, like throughout this whole thing, and he plays a big role, kind of going forward, especially in the final arc, that like I can't wait to see because that's going to be intense, and something that actually happened in the live stream, Joe Manganiello guest starred as a character, so I wonder if they're going to bring him back to voice the character that he played in the live stream. Yeah.
Possibly, man, because that's another guy that got separated from Sofia Vergara and could be D&D related.
D&D ruins her love life.
Yeah.
Except for Michelle so far.
I'm only 1 year in, so
Oh yeah.
next year.
It's the opposite for girls. It's like it gets you like it will catch you a husband if you want to get married. Just start playing D&D and you'll
Yeah, but
they just
all
keep
they're gonna do
swarming.
then is just
Forget
play
the
D&D.
milkshake. D&D brings all the boys to the yard.
D&D.
Talk about role playing now.
I'll wear the
Oh
elf
my
ears.
God.
The elf ears stay on.
My God. Bring
I
some Dyson.
they do have
You roll a 1.
they do have
Critical failure.
no, they do have the dices that are like one of them will be like lick and the other one will be like a body part, and it's like
But you're also gonna have to roll to see if you're successful or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fail.
Oh my God.
I guess I got your elbow instead.
This is actually what Challengers was. This is the scene that he was talking about.
That was also based off a
Funny,
D&D
apparently.
live stream.
Yeah. Something, Rowan, you have to tell me, something I did notice after watching the first season and going immediately into the second season. There's sort of repetition where in the first season you got Percy, that his weapon is has this like evil thing behind it, like spirit, a demon. And then in the second season you have, again with the cloak, and then the other guy,
sword.
Yeah, Grog with the sword. So I'm like,
yeah.
so it's kind of very like, I'm seeing the similarities that every time they get something that's powerful, it's like it comes with like something that's makes it like a negative. Yeah.
Like it's a big D&D thing that like power comes with like it's kind of like you get the good and the bad, but the sword that one they played like quite a bit different than they did in the live stream, because in the live stream Grog actually died because so what the sword really did is for like all the people that he killed and all that stuff, he got stronger, like his strength score kept going up and up. But as soon as he would go to sleep, it would kind of revert back to normal. So then Grog kept staying awake because he didn't want to lose the strength. But then he started getting exhaustion points, and then all of a sudden, I forget exactly how it happened. But he ended up rolling something really, really bad that just caused an instant death for him. And then Pike was right there, and then she like brought him back or whatever. But then after that, that's when they destroyed the sword. But I really like how they played it. But yeah, like a lot of the conversations that he had with the sword, like that actually happened in the live stream, which was hilarious because he would just secretly try to talk to it, and he had it for a long time in the live stream.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that sword. I wish I had that sword.
Yeah.
I
It was a cool
loved
sword.
Grog's friendship with Pike too, though. It was like the sweetest relationship. I feel like out of all of them, they just kept calling each other buddies the whole time.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
Yeah, no, that was throughout the whole thing, and then Grog also had a thing with Scanlan too. That was like the secondary friendship kind of thing.
When he wraps him as a baby, man, that's pretty
so
funny.
Cute.
Yeah. Like,
I will say, from the first to second seasons, though, I think I liked the plot of the first season more, but I enjoyed the second season the most out of those two. But the plot from the first season was amazing because that's where we kind of got Percy's backstory.
I was gonna say the plot for you, Percy. Percy's the plot.
Yeah, Percy was the plot. Yeah. But no, it was interesting to see, like, oh man, well, who was she praying to? Or we don't even know what she was trying to do we?
The whispered one.
The whispered one. Yeah. That was just so interesting. And when they're walking in, you see they killed like 2 children because they looked like trolls, dwarfs, right? They looked like the other 2 people, so they just see all of them hanging when they walk into his town. Yeah.
In the sentry. Yeah,
that was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like even in the live stream, because like the way that he described it, it was them, and including the 2 kids that they hung there because the 2 gnomes, which were Scanlan and Pike.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, it kind of shows you how like crazy they were.
Well, there's a lot of like sad moments like that with the dragon too. Like Pike couldn't bless the house, and then the dragon comes and kills like, the whole family. Yeah, and she couldn't revive.
She used all her power already for, I think it was Grog, right? And then she couldn't revive again and revive the kid. Yeah.
So more backstory with Pike. So at that time, Ashley was actually on the show Blind Spot. So she missed like huge chunks of the first campaign. So when she's astral projecting in Whitestone, is because she pretty much like video conferenced into a lot of the sessions.
Oh wow!
Because she was in New York filming like the show, because it went on for like 4 or 5 seasons. So she was like a regular. She was like the nerd, like the tech nerd for the FBI on that show.
Oh, wow!
So she like was gone for a huge chunk. So I thought it was really cool how they showed it in the thing, because in the live stream too, her necklace broke because she was doing some fucked up shit. Like she was like mercilessly like randomly killing people. Like
okay.
And it finally broke because there was like some old farmer or old person that was running away, and then she like killed him as he was running away. And then after that was when it cracked, and then Matt was like, "Oh, your powers aren't working really," and then that's kind of when she had to like go redeem herself.
Jesus moment.
Yeah,
that's so interesting. Yeah. She seemed like one of the nicest characters that wouldn't like hurt a fly compared to the rest.
She was, yeah. She was generally
she was killing everybody.
No, she was, but then she kind of kept doing like, she kept escalating a little bit, and doing kind of like little questionable things until she did that, and then Matt's like, "All right, your symbol's cracked."
I feel
What's
like
the name of the
every
god
character, like in real life, has their flaws too. Like,
yeah.
That's kind
of the best part of it.
That Pike worships. What's the name of it?
So in the show, they call her the Everlight, but it's Senrei. Yeah, in the live stream, but yeah, it's the Everlight.
What I liked about the Everlight is like she tells her like, hey, it doesn't matter which path you go as long as your path is like technically being like, if you're a good person, doesn't matter if you're worshiping me with this people or if you're following your friends, as long as you follow the light. Which I kind of like that because it's I'm not a religious person, but I feel like you can be a good person and not have to go to church every Sunday to say like, oh, you're not a good person because you're not going to church, but you can choose to do other things to help out humanity or be a kind person. So I like that.
I think it's like so long as you're like true to you thing,
Yeah. And that God's kind of like the God of redemption and like a lot of the good things kind of thing. So it really fits for for her in
For her.
in the campaign too. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
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 Pike and Scallion, though, when they started getting closer, I don't know why I didn't see it coming when I should have saw it coming, but I just felt like she was trying to push him away just a little bit because he is a little.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a fuckboy.
Yeah. Well, he tried to sleep with his daughter, and then he tried to that was a whole
Dude, that was crazy. Like even in the live stream, because like so like none of the story is kind of like premeditated or even talked about. It just like Matt randomly throws things at him. So like in the live stream, he's there and he's like does this whole thing where he tries to sleep with this other gnome bard, and then all of a sudden like Matt throws this thing like, oh, by the way, I'm your daughter kind of thing. And then and it's also kind of funny because every NPC is Matt, like in the live stream. So Matt does all of these different voices for all these different characters. So it's interesting to get actual different voice actors to do everything. But yeah, like that threw me like off a cliff too. It was like, oh, of course he would have random kids out there in the world.
Yeah, it's after he was pretty much naked that she told him, though, and she like tied him up, and I was thinking, why wouldn't you tell him beforehand? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah,
trying to get him when he's in a very vulnerable spot.
I guess so. Yeah, see your father like that, I guess.
Him, I suppose.
Oh man, well, at least it wasn't his stepsister, you know. So
oh my god.
Yeah.
Or roommate at this point.
DM will always throw in like wrenches like that though, and it's crazy. I have not played a bard, but my character in one of my campaigns is very flirty with the NPCs. Like I ask my DM all the time, I'm like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how attractive are they? Anytime an NPC is introduced, and yeah, sometimes they just throw little funny things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It did make it entertaining, for sure.
Yeah,
but that's when it was a little too much for me. Same with Vax and what's his name, the guy at the store.
Oh, Gilmore.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, will they not? Because they seemed like they were genuinely good friends and close.
Yeah. So Gilmore always had a thing for Vax, and Vax kind of just like went along with it and kind of egged it on, but like never did anything with it in the live stream. But yeah, like it was definitely like a thing that Gilmore always had a thing for Vax, but like Vax kind of just went along with it, but not really his thing.
I read something somewhere though, because one of the things that I kind of liked was that you did see like some queer relationships in the show.
Oh yeah.
But it was done in such a way that is just so normalized, where it wasn't like
Well, Kima and Laura, they're together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I did read that
Stephanie Beatrice plays.
Huh? So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You know, like whether he goes with it just to get free stuff or because maybe he does like the shopkeeper and stuff. I was like,
oh yeah. And then actually the bartender in the bar in the first one, like the pretty much all the fans created that character. Like everybody voted like we want them to be this and look like this and this race and all that stuff.
It was very inclusive.
Oh yeah. They're super inclusive. They're like very LGBTQ plus.
No, which is kind of crazy because you say that, and obviously the show's getting a third season and possibly a fourth season. But a lot of shows when they come out, it's this whole thing about like, oh, if you go woke, nobody's gonna watch it. Hence why the Jedi show, the one we just recently watched, like people were saying like, oh, that's
the Acolyte.
That's the big reason why it failed supposedly. But it's just like, yeah, like dude, there's a lot of people that watch the show. So
because of the moms or why?
Because it was a woman leading the show, apparently. So that's what the conversation was. But it's just one of those things where, like, this show has all that, but nobody complains about it. Like, I've never seen one complaint about anybody being like, oh, these two characters on this show kiss, or these characters are like...
Sometimes it's the fan bases, and
absolutely.
Even Star Wars has very toxic...
they're the...
No, Star Wars.
Unfortunately.
No.
It has so many aliens.
It's so crazy because like when we were growing up, like I wanted like girls to be interested in stuff that I was interested in. Now there are girls that like Star Wars, and like we're gatekeeping them. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we keeping the women away from Star Wars? Like, I don't get it.
Because they can't
It's like-
lead anything. They should just be chained and in sexy like
Uh,
bikini tops.
no.
Where- oh my
because
God, what
girls
was her
have
name?
cooties.
What was the girl's name in Star Wars?
Leia?
Leia?
Leia, yeah, we gotta wear her like bikini
Yeah.
armor that she had on. Yeah.
Bikini, and
Oh.
chain
With
her
Jabba the Hutt.
to Jabba
Yeah.
the Hutt.
and kiss your brother, and yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, you know all about that, Raul. Not
Raul.
Raul, Carlos.
Wow.
Hey.
I bet. You know what? I
Man,
don't
I'm getting
judge.
thrown into this.
So
Well,
I am interested to know though, between the two seasons, did you guys like the Briarwood season or did you like the Dragon season?
I didn't get to finish the second one all the way. Like I said, I read it. I was liking it, but so Percy was one of my favorite characters.
Mhm.
Also one of my biggest crushes.
I
kind
agree.
of might
I
be a
agree.
little
Mine
biased,
too.
but I
It's the white
really
hair.
liked that one. The first season storyline, like a lot. And also, there was just a lot of like similarities that I saw to like my gameplay and campaigns and stuff. So like I'm currently in a campaign where we did actually have to fight a horde of zombies from a town, and just kind of seeing those things again, like when you're playing, you're picturing all of this in your head, but like seeing it animated and all that is really, it's badass. It was fun. So
Mhm.
I think I just connected personally a little bit more, and even to Percy's character too, because with everything that he went through, and he was basically going on like on this like revenge spree, like I want to
Mhm.
avenge my family. And you know, like he had made this pact with this devil demon thing,
yeah.
and then you
Mhm.
know, he had like a specific I thought his gun was cool because he had like a bullet for each person he was going
Mhm.
after, and I was like, you know what, I would have done the same shit too. Like I
Mhm.
would have done exactly what Percy, like the way he was reacting to everything, I just saw myself easily like falling in that path as well. So I felt like for me it was more relatable. And then just like the creepiness factor too, of like all the undead and the necromancy and the dark
Mhm.
magic, like again, that's stuff that's kind of elements of that in my current campaigns. And I was like, this is cool as hell. I love it.
Mhm.
No,
Awesome.
yeah, it's probably one of the like even for the live stream for the critters, like the Briarwood arc is probably like
My favorite.
the favorite, yeah. Because there's so much story there,
Mhm.
and there's so much background, and just like, because it's not just Percy's like background, it's also like Whitestone and the whole city and everybody there,
Mhm.
and then you have all these characters, and then you also have all a lot of other things that are still involved with it, because like some remnants of what happened is still gonna carry on throughout the show, and I'm just interested to see how it continues.
Yeah.
Because like kind in oh, this is gonna be kind of a spoiler for you, Michelle, because I don't think you got there yet. But Keeper Yenin, what when she starts turning, like that was
Mhm.
a thing in the live stream, and that's the dragon arc is still not over. So in the third
Mhm.
season, they're going to hell, which,
Mm.
well, in D&D it's the nine hells, but yeah, like they go to the nine hells because they do stuff, and they actually went to the fire plane, and there's a city there that I don't think they're gonna show. But like slavery is a big thing in this city.
Mhm.
So you have like all these like genasi and genies and like fire type of elemental things. But yeah, there's like slaves all over the place. So I don't think they're gonna show that. But because they already kind of went past that with their where they are in the story. But the dragons is a big part of the campaign, so it's gonna keep going for at least another season, and then probably the fourth season is gonna be the final one that's gonna break my heart again, probably.
Mhm.
Oh, man. What about you, Sylvia? Which one was your first one? The first one, right? That's the one you
I
liked.
liked the season one's plot more, but I enjoyed season 2 more, if that makes sense. Because I loved the plot from the first season, but in the second season, we already have some background with the characters, and I felt closer to them almost. So I enjoyed it a little bit more, and I think the graphics even got a little bit better, just like how they were showing
The
things.
animation,
It seemed,
yeah.
the animations were really good.
No, yeah. I mean, for me, I am like you. I'm enjoying the second season a lot more, maybe because it's just like going from one spot to another spot.
Mhm.
Michelle, I did enjoy the first season, and I do like Percy. Like, I do genuinely think he's an awesome character. If I could change one thing about the first season, is that I don't like how much time they spend with this demon that's hunting him. Like he gets all obsessive about like I gotta kill this person, and you gotta let me kill her, and I just feel like that could have like not been part of the plot, and the first season could have been just as great. So I don't know. I just felt like as I was watching it, it just kept happening too many times where he would get the mask, and then they're trying to stop him, and he's like, "No, I can't shoot them. I will shoot them." And I'm like, "Dude, this needs to like stop." So that was like my only complaint on my second rewatch. I'm like, I just totally feel like Percy's a great character, and I love his weapon. I just don't feel like the demon thing went on for way too long. Him like
I
fighting it off.
personally like to see that internal like struggle and stuff. So
Yeah, because the mask was really cool. Like him putting
yeah,
that
the
mask on was
mask was
awesome.
cool. I like how, people kept pointing out the smoke too, like, hey, it's getting like a lot, and like, are you like okay, kind of a thing. I don't know. I think it just like that. And there was a scene that I liked where I think it was at the end when he was really trying to like come back to his friends and having that struggle.
Yeah.
And like one of his eyes changed. He has one eye that's kind of like overtaken by, was it Orthax or something like that?
Yeah.
Was the name of the demon, and then one that was like his regular.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why I liked it is because like one of the themes you see is chosen family. Like he lost his family, and this group, it's like just a bunch of random people coming together, but now like you guys form this like bond, or you're forming this family, and it was a struggle of like, at least what I saw, it's like you got to let go of the past, and like, yes, this was family you're related to by blood, you want to avenge them, but like now you have a new family here that you may not be related to by blood, but like you bonded, and it's that chosen family. And it's that him, like, what do you just stay on with the past, or do you kind of just move on to the future and let go? So I kind of have like a thing for characters like that. Like that's just kind of like an ongoing theme that I just happen to see. Like when all that happened, I'm like, of course I would kind of fall for the character.
Yeah.
That issue.
Because it's that thing where you can't choose your family, where you can choose your friends, and then your friends, they eventually over time they become almost your family.
So it was good to see that struggle, because eventually, like they were able to help him kind of overcome his demons, literally, and he chose them.
And I do feel like every one of those characters does need like that extra little thing to make him more powerful. Because now, even without that demon in the second season, he really hasn't done much besides, like he shoots at things, but it's not very effective, sadly, against dragons. So it's just like, you feel like they need that extra thing to power them up.
Yeah, because he's just a human gunslinger.
Yeah.
He's not a druid. He's not a
He's
rogue.
smart. He's intelligent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very intelligent.
No, and he in the live stream he definitely does more damage. But he also has those moments where his gun jams and stuff like that. So it's after this whole thing, it's definitely more interesting to actually watch the live stream. Just because like the mechanics of it still kind of keep him in there. But yeah, like his character still has some big moments kind of coming up, especially like within the group, because they're going to run into some big obstacles, and it's cool
like,
kind of how he deals with it too.
And everybody has a role in a party. Like there's so many different types of characters you can be. I think there's moments where, because I've seen this in gameplay, where like maybe your particular character is really excellent for whatever type of mission you're in right now, but maybe for like another, like not really. So you got to like support or kind of do things a little bit differently. So I think it's just kind of like how you see something that happens like that in gameplay. I think that's just like the same way that you're seeing it in like the show.
I wonder, Raul, do you remember if in their campaign that they were doing, there's one moment that it made me think about it when Scallion takes Percy's gun and he throws it in the lava, and then Queenie comes down, and I'm like, oh, how did you know that he was still in there? And he was like, oh, I didn't. Do you know if that actually happened within like their?
No, it really did happen. So Scanlan really did like just throw the gun into the lava, and Taliesin, who plays Percy, like really did kind of like react like what did you do, like it was pretty entertaining to watch in the live stream too. And fun note on Taliesin, Mr. Mom, he's the baby.
Okay.
Oh wow. Interesting.
Sylvia, you haven't seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie that I was referring to earlier. So right now I have in front of me 20 roll, like a dice at 20, what is it, 20 dice?
D20.
20-sided die.
At D20, Sylvia. So I'm gonna roll for it. And depending on the number, next week you have to come back and you have to watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Is that how Dungeons and Dragons works, guys?
Sure. It can.
We can do it that way, yeah.
So I'm gonna just press it, see what I get, and then depending on
how high is it supposed to be?
20, right? 20. It's just
you want it to be a 20 is hard.
Yeah, that's a 5% chance.
Yeah, so you have, it's like the number that you pick, it has to be that number or higher.
Make it a 14. Or what does the DM say?
No, we can do kind of like not hard difficulty of like 10. So if it's a 10 or higher, then you watch it. If it's less than 10,
that's what I was. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sounds good. So you agree to these terms,
yes,
Sylvia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna roll here on the screen. So
17.
That's a 17.
I'm watching Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons with Chris Pine.
Yeah, all right.
Awesome. Yeah. I think because you sounded like, honestly, the only reason why I bring it up is because you did truly enjoy this show. And I think when you see that live version of it, which a lot of things could have gone wrong with that, because in the past they tried making a movie out of it and it was horrible, but you'll see
with Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, you'll see how fun this movie really is, and it'll make you like want a sequel. So I really think you're gonna enjoy this movie if you watch it.
I think I put it in my top 10 last year, didn't I?
Yeah, we both did. Yeah. Ramon was the only one that did not, because he had Barbie.
Maybe this will be in my top 10 then.
Oh, no. But that came out last year. For this year, you have to do based on 2024 movies. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I have it on the list. I'm writing all my notes of things to see and things to play.
You know what? I haven't been keeping track of my movies for this year, so it's going to be interesting trying to look back. Like, oh yeah, that came out this year.
What did I watch?
Yeah. No.
But I also think that I saw more movies last year than I have this year so far.
There haven't really been any amazing movies coming out this year, I feel like.
I mean,
a few.
Yeah. I mean, we're about to go into our horror month, but I think horror has been leading the year as far as like good movies. I know for a fact, like the first two that I want to see with you guys in the month, like those are really high regarded as some of the best of this year. But there are some that are coming out this month that I'm like, oh man, like I kind of wish that they're available on streaming so that we can almost maybe replace one of the movies with one of the newer ones. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
I'll go watch the James McAvoy one.
Oh, that one, the Danish one. It's a Danish remake.
The one where he's like with the family.
Yeah, that seems creepy as hell.
I love him, but
I love him too.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I mean,
so good.
Yeah, but I'm like,
yeah. No, so we got a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, I mean, Sylvia, I don't know if we're at the point where we just kind of say our final thoughts. But I mean, I really like the show. I'm rooting for it. I'm gonna be watching the first episode when it comes back. And what I like about Amazon Prime, that they'll probably give us the first 3 like right away. So I'm looking forward for them to hopefully do that.
Oh, another thing, if you really want to dig deep into each episode, when it was coming out, they did a watch along, like every week that new episode was coming on, and then they also did like a post episode Q&A that you can probably find probably on YouTube, in case you really want to dig deep into each episode.
Okay.
That's interesting. I honestly might, because there's a little things that happened here and there, and my immediate thought was, I wonder if that actually happened, or if they Hollywoodized it a little bit. So
Yeah,
There was a lot that they kind of like changed, and most of the stuff pretty much almost everything I agree. Just because it's impossible to throw like 100 episodes of pretty much 400 hours worth of stuff into a
no.
couple
So
seasons.
Sylvia's
12
right. How much is
episodes.
Jeff Bezos really messing with this show? You know, 'Cause we really got to get to the bottom of it because he's doing a lot with the rings, and obviously that's not going too well.
Mm.
Dude, I feel like I watch like 20 minutes every week.
Oh man,
It's not that
with,
bad.
with how you've been talking about it.
No, the trailers
Oh no, she
make
went.
it.
Oh, you disappeared for a second. I'm like, she has
Yeah.
the ring.
No,
I can do
She went
that.
through a
yeah,
portal for a second.
the trailer definitely makes it look more exciting. But I'm kind of a little bit behind.
So in the last episode, I think they left off where a battle's coming. I swear to God, if I get out of here and I hit play and no fucking battle happens in that hour, I'm gonna be upset at it.
I know at some point there's gonna be some Ents fighting, so I just want to see some tree people.
No, they promised a battle. Dude. I saw the trailer. It left off with like they're at the gates, like.
And apparently there's Bombadil somewhere. I heard.
Excuse me, what?
There's Bombadil somewhere.
Oh, okay.
The wizard.
Okay. What did you call me, man?
Paddington.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Michelle, we never ask you to plug anything in all the times you have been our guest. But is there anything like social media wise or anything that you like to plug as far as like, either your personal Instagram account or anything?
Sure. Do you want me to plug in my?
I know. I was just saying, people like love to hear you and they want to actually like look for you and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So I have a cosplay Instagram page that I post regularly on. So if you're curious to just see cosplays or just kind of like adventures and highlights of my experiences at conventions and things like that, feel free to check it out. It is Moon Prism _cosplay. And you could also find me linked on the podcast Instagram page as well.
Oh yeah. No, thanks. Yeah, no, I've been meaning to do that. Raul, I know you don't have anything to plug. I don't have anything to plug. So wait, your script for your movie is moving along well.
It is, yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's the only reason she wears glasses.
Yep.
That's true.
One of these days, I'm gonna have a whole movie, and no one's gonna know about it.
And then we're gonna talk about it on this show.
Yeah, I'll have you guys review it.
Well,
And it's gonna have a bear.
Yeah. Well,
I
Sylvia
will
did
cosplay as the bear.
the bear. See, Sylvia, you did promise us that next week we were gonna try to play that game, which I guess it's up to like 20 people. So we're also gonna try to do that, right? Next week. So
Yeah, next week, Chain Together, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, you mean werewolf? Yes,
The werewolf one,
yep,
yeah.
werewolf, yeah.
Can you tell like I don't know anything about it really? Like can you tell us a little bit what it's about?
Yeah, so this is a game that you can play on your webpage as well, or it's a card game basically if you're out, or it's a board game. But basically, there is one or two werewolves in a town, and each villager, you can either be a villager or you're a special villager.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Depends.
It's a party game, right? Or
yes,
yeah, got it.
So you're either a regular villager or you have a special ability that you do, and basically what the villagers are trying to do is figure out who the werewolf is. Every night that everyone goes to sleep, the werewolf can kill one person.
It's like
it's just yes, it's basically like Mafia, but it's werewolf instead, and you're trying to figure out who the werewolf is. You're trying to get them voted off. And then if you don't, obviously the werewolf wins. If you do, then the villagers win.
I'm excited for this. So, I don't know when we'll do it next week, but I'm down 100%. So
can I be a werebear instead?
Yes. Yeah, a werebear.
That sounds sexy. I like it.
Should we leave the room for you two?
Hey, you're the guys that are sharing the same recording studio. You and Raul and you.
Yeah, that's what I said. Should I leave the room for you two?
Oh my god, hilarious.
Sylvia's like, you could be in the chair in the corner by yourself.
They would
Just like Tom Holland.
there would happen to be a casting couch right in that room.
Oh my god, I do have a couch right behind me.
Oh,
We
God.
can't see it. All we see is hello
Yeah,
and
you
purple.
can.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that Squirtle's
no.
always hanging by.
Yeah. No Squirtle or anything. Yeah.
Oh God, what is that
I like
Squirtle?
Squirtle to watch. I'm sorry.
I think this is the time where we stop the recording and we move to our nightly affairs.
This is
Podcast
the
after dark.
portion of the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was lovely talking to all of you, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Bye, D&D.
Toodles.
Bye.
Toodles.
Yeah.